Loud music only, not just by volume, but by truth.
I won't. No.
What's going on, everyone? You're watching Showcase on Loud Music Only. I'm your host, A.T. Bianco, and today we are joined by a very talented artist who goes by the name of WanBlvd. Juan, thanks for joining us today, my man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you.
Of course. So we're going to start this interview with a little story because one thing that I really find interesting just about life is how full circle it is. So flashback to my freshman year of college. I went to Utica College, and that was your senior season of football. Yeah. And you were starting middle linebacker. I did the play-by-play for the school radio station there. So I was very familiar with Juwan Wilson, the football player. And we caught up. I met you my freshman year. I interviewed you for our weekly sports show. And ever since, I've just been like paying attention to your music, man, since you graduated. And I just wanted to tap into that process of what's that transition been like going from college football player to music artist now? What's that journey been like for you?
Man, it's been different. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of similarities in it as far as how to be able to like stay consistent and just working hard and just dedicating hours and different, time to just the craft itself. So there's a lot of similarities, and then there's a lot of differences. It's been a lot of challenges. Anybody who knows me, like, football is my first love. Like, I've been playing it since I was like 3 years old. So like really for it to kick in that I wasn't going to be able to touch a ball again and like be in a real game situation was kind of like, I never thought about it as a kid growing up, you know what I mean? But it's crazy to think that I haven't touched a ball in a real game in like over a couple of years. But because of music, I honestly don't miss it as much. I don't miss it. I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, and I'm blessed that I was able to actually be able to make a smooth transition and find something that I'm passionate about as much as I am or was about football.
So talking on that topic, what made you want to chase this music thing? When did you start loving making music or just loving music in general?
It's funny how you say life comes around full circle. So like my dad, when I was growing up, he's from Guyana, so he's from another country, and he was given a visa, a work visa, because he played in a band. And it's like the number one band in Guyana. They like toured all around the United States and Canada. And when I was growing up, he always wanted me to play the trumpet. And I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. Like, where's the football? Like, all the guys in the band would just try to always, teach me how to play the drums or teach me how to play instrument. And I just wasn't for it. After football kind of settled down, I was in the studio with one of my best friends, Rich Vocals, and he was like just finishing up a couple of songs off of his album that he was about to release during that time. And a bunch of the guys are in the studio, and like I'm over in the corner kind of like moping out of this situation because like I'm still at this time kind of like getting over not playing football. And he's like, yo, Juan, come in the studio and say these lines that I got written down for me. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, this is not what I do, like nothing. And I think the lines were like, I told him to wait on it. I told him to pray on it. And I think those were the lines. I went in there, came back out, and everybody was just like, you might be able to do this. I'm like, whatever, I'm not listening to y'all. After that, I went home legit that day in my room secretly, and I was just writing. And then I decided to release my first song, which was bad. I'm not even gonna lie. My friends, they weren't my friends that week because they let me drop that song. But I dropped my first song, and then after that, it was just like, okay, like I kind of like doing this. It was more of a stress reliever. I could take away the anxieties, the frustration I had of not playing football and, doing what everybody, I guess, expected me to do. And then it just basically, it filled that missing gap that I didn't have. That I needed.
You probably had a lot of self-doubt, like within that, like, oh, should I do this? Like everyone's trying to do this. Like, what was that obstacle like for you? Like even before SB blew up?
I think it was hard. I think it was at the time. When I think about it now, I feel like it wasn't as hard as I thought it was then. But during the moment, it was hard. I felt like everybody was like, "Oh, so you too?" Like that's kind of what I got. You know what I mean? Then I felt that like I was that I had failed at my dreams at playing football. So like everybody saw me as that person. Where like, yeah, you said you were going to league. Now you're not going to league, so you're settling for what everybody else is doing. And so that kind of hurt because I like to pride myself in just being myself and being different. And it took me a while to understand that like I wasn't the only kid playing football and it wasn't the only kid that wanted to go to the league. So what's the difference with this? You know what I mean? It makes me happy. And at the end of the day, that's all that should matter. So, but it was hard at first. Definitely was hard at first.
So you talked a little bit about like that first time you went into the booth and like you either wrote lyrics or just came up with them at the top of your head. Then you went home and you started writing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I almost remember you when you like graduated college. Did you write a book?
Yeah. So
okay.
I legit wrote a book. I haven't published it yet, but it's done. Like it's legit done. I've been waiting for the right moment just to drop it. Only a few people. That's how I know you've been here since day one, because only a few people know that like I've legit sat down, read a book, 12 chapters. It's actually it's one of my proudest moments because school was never my thing, but to be able to take what I've learned from school and from all my teachers and just my experiences and then actually turn it into a well-written book was dope. So I was actually excited about that. That's gonna come one day.
Over the time when you've been creating music, when it comes to your creative process, do you take some time out, sit and structure your songs and write them down? You have a whole notebook, or you freestyle sometimes? What's that process like for you?
Honestly, before I met another one of my best friends, P. Sane. He's a great artist as well. He would tell me like we'll be in the studio together and I would just be writing it down and I'd be thinking like, okay, you know what? The structure of a song, and I've been in studio sessions where like some producers have been like, hey, the structure of a song is the hook, the verse, the hook, the verse, and maybe you might bring back in the hook. So when I was learning, that's kind of how I let things happen. And then after I met P, he was basically telling me like, how am I gonna tell you how to start a song when you feel what you feel? Like if you hear a beat and you want to hit your verse first and then hit another verse and then a hook and then say the hook again, like you should be able to do that. Like nobody's in control of how you perceive the music. And so ever since then, this happened during quarantine when me and him were making a project together. And after that day, like I stopped writing. I might write down like an idea or like a bar if I can't get it up the way I want to say it because I need to see it. But 9 times out of the 10, I usually just listen to the beat. And I love guitar strings. So like most of my beats always have guitar strings in them. So once I hear like what that mood of the guitar makes me feel like, I then just pick an experience that I've dealt with or my friends have dealt with, and then I just let it go. And then I tighten it up at the end because sometimes it be sounding kind of crazy.
Right. So when it comes to artists and musical influences that kind of define the whole, there's really no rules to this shit. You know what I mean? Like something like that. When it comes to your biggest musical influences that inspire you to do what you feel on a track, who are some of those for you?
The first one, I'm gonna say Pete, who's actually my roommate and who I just spoke about. The reason why it's him, I put him first is because as an artist, it's so easy to get distracted with what everybody else is doing. And it's so easy to like get manipulated by even your fans or the people who care much about you or who really want to hear your music. And something that I've learned from him this whole entire year is just, hey, this is your pace. This is your music. And you're going to do it at your pace. You're going to be consistent at your pace and you're going to do it your way. And that's okay. Like that is okay. As long as you dropping quality songs and people can feel it, it's going to be okay. Second thing for me is Tory Lanez. I feel like the diversity, like you can listen to a hype Tory song, you can listen to him in your bag and you feel it. Like you just feel it. You know what I'm saying? And he's like another person that is kind of aligned with the last person, which is Drake, is not because he's Drake, but it's the vulnerability. You know what I mean? Like there's so many artists out there today that's just like, this is what I want you to believe is, you know what I mean? I'm going to show you what I want you to see. I'm going to tell you what I want you to see, and not it be real. But when Tory's heartbroken, you know he's heartbroken. He's going to say it. You know what I'm saying? And when Drake is feeling a certain way, you know it. He says it. And I feel like those are the people that I pick from, because it's like they have the most success because people feel like, yo, I know who that person is. I know what he's going through. And obviously people have been through the same thing. So that's kind of where I pick my influence from. Those three people are definitely my biggest influences.
Right. The vulnerability too. And like the hybrid between R&B and hip hop, you got, you know, guys like Drake, obviously, and Tory Lanez and your boy, P Saint, his name is right.
Yep.
I've listened to a couple of his songs. He's real good. So I'm very impressed with him. And then you got like other artists like Bryson Tiller, for example. He has like a pretty good, like hybrid of the hip hop and R&B style. Were you at that concert in Utica? His show?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was pretty cool because I was a senior in high school then, and like that was the year he dropped Trap Soul, and that's when I got into him. Like the year before too, when he was dropping SoundCloud stuff, and then they just brought him. And you know, Utica College, they didn't really have like many shows or whatnot, so it was like a cool surprise. So I just wanted to see if you were there, because that's a cool like glimpse into what could be for you eventually. You know what I mean?
It's crazy too, because like I was looking at it like, dang, like, and I didn't think in that moment like, yo, like, oh dang, this is where like I could be at one day. Like I just thought about like, yo, this is dope that like there's this many people that's just out here to hear a person just tell their stories. You know what I mean? Like, so it was dope. It was a dope experience all the way across the board.
Yeah, I remember that. I snuck into the I wasn't like a student at that point at the school, so I snuck into the pit because like I was just like, oh, I gotta get closer. You know, there's more girls in the pit too, so that's more fun too. So I just had to ask on that one. So jumping on to the next topic. For the past couple of years, Sprite has been like sponsoring artists and investing in like young creatives and stuff like that. And you're actually a Sprite artist.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, I might add. And I wanted to showcase that as well. How'd that come about? How'd that opportunity arise? And what's that been like for you so far? What's your experience with that?
It's been crazy. I love it. First off, big shout out to Sprite for giving me the opportunity. Honestly, how it happened was Jason Unruly, who's my photographer, videographer. Honestly, I owe him, I think, a lot more than I really do say. I feel like people know that I get sentimental on Instagram sometimes when we do things, but like he's really like a major key to my success, because some artists just don't have the ability to put that visual, a quality visual attached to maybe a mediocre song to make it be like, okay, now this song is hard, just off the visual being so creative and being dope. So, but Jason was going through Twitter, and he started, they said like, hey, like who should be an artist we should be listening to? He tagged my name at the bottom. They listened to a few songs, and then before I knew it, I had a DM, and it happened like that. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I'm like, all right. I'm like, I don't know what to expect of it. You know what I mean? I'm like, maybe this is just like something they just don't like retweet one of my videos that I already have or something. And then when they asked, and like they sent the contract through and everything, and I was just like, oh wow, like this is like really happening. And it's been dope. Like the experience is crazy. I've been able to speak to like different people in the industry and understand how it works, how to protect myself, how to gain leverage. It's been crazy. I was able to get followed by Mims, and he's been a big help. Just how to be able to work the industry and then work myself outside to prepare myself for, you know, when the time comes and, you know, and it's all over. But it's been dope. It's been a crazy experience. It's been a crazy ride, and I'm grateful that they still rocking with me. To be honest, it's dope.
Yeah, I'm very excited for you because of that. You know, that's a really cool partnership and just a great opportunity. And then another excerpt of like how full circle life is my like very first college class. I was like partners in a videography class with Jason.
That's crazy.
At UC, and he was mad cool, and it was, I think it might have been when he was like starting to do like a freelance videographer business and doing like local music videos and stuff like that. And I remember I had a project with him. We had to do some, I don't know, short video. It was like a documentary filmmaking class or whatever. And I worked with Jason on like a quick little in-class project video. And he was like very good. Even then, he was very good at what he did in terms of structuring, just like the overall theme of a video. And that's another thing I wanted to touch on, is because I've been paying a lot of attention to his work in general and your work and how that coincides. And one thing I'm really impressed with are the music videos that you guys create together. And my favorite one being Hollywood.
Respectfully, I give you everything that you need. Fall from them niggas who ain't living what they preach. Fall from them niggas trying to slide up in your sheets. And please don't bring no sand to the beach. Leave your past where it be. Fall from Hollywood, but I can see the hills. Shorty, let us ride with the gang, cause we real. I've been trying to get around for a minute. When I slide, slow strokes, put that ass to the sky. Put that face to the floor. Should I stay, should I go? It's a vibe. I'm just trying to spend some time. Baby, you should hear my line. Say she need a man, not a boy. Got a drawer full of toys. Better bring more than sex, so you end up like the rest.
I think that one is so aesthetically pleasing. Just everything down to, and the song we're gonna talk about too. But like that video, like how did that video come to life, and what is it like working with one of your best friends on making music videos?
Honestly, it's the best thing in the world, because I feel like there's sometimes I'm saying things and like I think that's one of my the worst traits I have. Like in my brain, like things go like the way, like it makes sense, but when I say it, sometimes it don't make sense. And Jason is able to just sit there and be like, okay, you mean this and this and that. And I think that helps out so much, because sometimes it's so hard as a creative to get your ideas across to somebody to get them the way they want. But when we were listening to the track, one of the things me and Jason, we wanted to focus on was, one, colors, and two, we just wanted people to feel good. Like I don't like having something that doesn't have a storyline, or it's just me rapping in front of the camera. I feel like it's no fun. And so Jason kind of put the storyline together after listening to the lyrics for a little bit. And then we went scouting for different locations, and we just really wanted the colors to pop. Like we just really wanted to give people something different that they haven't seen from us, to show our growth as far as me on the song, and him as an editor and him as a creative as well. So it's dope being able to just bounce ideas off of each other. And I love the fact that if I don't like something, I can tell him like, yo, I don't like it. And then, because he has the respect for me to be like, okay, you don't like this, cool. And vice versa, like, hey, like this energy in this shot is not what we need. I need you to do it again. We might have done it 15 times already, but we need to do it again. So right. I think I love that we have that trust and balance, and then knowing that like, hey, like what he's saying is for the best of me. So,
and that creates a great team. You have that mutual respect for each other as well. And the colors in that video, like you guys executed that, because that was one of my favorite parts, just like the whole aesthetic and even everything down to the cover art. And for that song. So did he shoot that shot on you sitting on the couch and looking over, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we shot a few different ones, and he was just like, nah, I don't think they need to see your face. Like, it's weird. Like, he has these moments where like he's on set and he won't speak to you. He'll just start moving things. And he's like, sit there. And I'm like, okay. You know, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? And he takes a picture and he's like, all right, that's all I needed. Let's go. And then he will send it to me like when we get back to the house, like, oh yeah, by the way, here's the cover. And I'm like, you wasn't gonna tell me you took this? Like, we was rolling. So I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, he does it all, to be honest.
It's the element of surprise, and you guys make a really good team. And so when we're talking about that song, just in general, I want to talk about a few of your songs. Hollywood is my personal favorite of yours. I just think it's like the perfect hybrid of, you kind of display your ability for some different cadences and some different flows. You sing a little bit, you got some harmonizations in the background. Talk about the vision behind that song, why you made that song, and how your setting of being in LA kind of, relates to that.
So like during the pandemic, we like, me, P and J, we just said like, hey, let's take a one way to LA. Let's just experience something different. Let's have some things around us, and let's just see what happens. And then while we going through the ups and downs of being out here and like it's being a pandemic and finding places to stay, like we were able to like recording these weird situations from like hotel bathrooms to Airbnbs, the cars, and like I made so many songs during that point in time that I grew from the songs I felt that people expected or heard from me. Because at the end of the year, I didn't drop anything. Like I dropped in the summer on my birthday, and that was the last time people really heard from me. And that was during the time that we were traveling. And I learned so much about my voice, so much of my abilities that I can do. And I learned how to say things that people actually feel, and not just say the normal, and just tell my story even better. And for Hollywood, I just wanted people to know that, like, yo, I've been working. I know you haven't heard from me in a very long time, but I've been working on my voice. I've been understanding my voice, getting better at writing and metaphors and my delivery. And I think that's what I wanted to show people, that like, yo, like I do take this seriously, and this is something that I love doing. So I wanted to, like you said, show people that like, hey, like, yeah, I can harmonize, and yeah, I got different flows, and underneath it, like I can sing a tad when the auto-tune helps me out, but I can sing a tad and like do the things that like, the artists you guys love on a normal basis can do. I just wanted people to take me serious, who haven't taken me serious in the past this year, and know that like, hey, like I mean all business, and then I'm gonna make this happen.
So let's talk about On Me. First, how that song came to life and what it's about necessarily, because it's more of like an R&B, real like emotional song for your listeners.
For me, On Me basically came about was, I just want to say, I feel like it was just a combination of my experiences with just relationships and love. Like I realized that like in college and after college that like I've met some incredible women, and there've been times where like I felt like I've dropped the ball. I wasn't old enough and grown enough to understand, like, yo, mature enough to know, like, hey, I done this, like, and I twisted it, and it kind of maybe in my mind manipulated myself to make it feel like, hey, like, yo, they were the problem. And then there's times where like I felt like I've given myself too much to another person, to a significant other, and then they didn't appreciate it. And I just know that we've all gone through those things. So I just wanted to, again, be vulnerable, and something that a lot of people don't, because I'm an open book. I don't really hide things, but it takes for somebody to ask me. I won't just sit down at a table and be like, hey, I've been through X, Y, and Z.
Right.
If you ask a question, I'm always going to be open about it, and I always tell the truth.
You say that you ain't okay, so maybe go and do your thing. Please don't hit my phone when it goes bad. Praying for your rise and not your decent though. Hoping that you find somebody who gon' love you, somebody to trust too. Sliding through the wind, sliding through the wind. Baby, I can see your heart ain't feeling it. I can see it through your face, through your feet. Send the blocks attached to your feet. Had a blast, baby. I'd be lying if I said there was no love, though. I had to learn the hard way, baby, yeah, love calls. And that shit hurt. I never ever let nobody ever play with me again. Yeah, I never let nobody ever play with me again. Yeah, I said it one more time so they can tell it to their friends. I be wildin' to the end. Ask me if I love you, baby girl, well, that depends.
That's what it was about, you know what I mean? There's a bunch of like my exes that heard the song and would be like, I know this part is about me. And then this portion is like, I was like, damn. And then this
does that feel good?
It feels good. Then it feels bad sometimes because like a lot of my exes, like we're cool now. Like we're cool now. We, you know what I mean? Like we're cordial. And so I don't mean to like poke the bear, or I don't mean to like backtrack on it. But it's just like, yo, some of these times I didn't have the words or the understanding on how to really bring it out or how to describe how I felt. And I felt like once I heard the beat, and shout out to my boy Joey the God, who's my producer, when I heard the beat, it was just like, how could I not? How could I not like? And I felt like it's crazy. That song has done so much for me, and that nobody knows that like it's been on like the Brazil top charts. It's been picked up by a bunch of Spotify created playlists. It's done so much that I didn't think it would. Like that was one of those tracks where like I needed it for myself more than it was really for the fans. Like I needed to express my thoughts and express the feelings that I had, because at that moment, like I was speaking to a young lady I'm still speaking to now, and I felt like for me to move forward with that, like I needed to get that out, and I need to not move those mistakes into the next one. So it was a much needed track. I think it was more for me than it was for everybody else. Selfishly, I say that, but I'm glad that everybody perceived it the way that they did.
I think hearing you say that, you did it in like a mature and tasteful manner. Like at least you didn't, include like a cheesy like voicemail from a girl that you hear cliche. It's the most cliche thing in all of like music. So at least you didn't do that. But at the same time, when we're talking about the creative presentation of that song in particular, and showing your vulnerability not only through your lyrics and your singing, but also through that video as well. And Jason did that video with you as well. Yep. What was it like creating that music video and bringing that to life? And was that on a particular set or, in a house?
Yeah. So the funny thing about it was I was telling Jason, like, one of the hardest things about being an independent artist is finding the ability to make something that's dope on a budget and then keeping enough budget to be able to market it and put it in front of new people every single day. Mm-hmm. And to do it consistently without stretching yourself, because you got a life happens, we have bills to pay. And so I sat down to Jason and I was like, hey, like, I don't want to spend as much as we spend on our Hollywood video. Can we try our best to make this dope? This is Lucci, by the way.
What up, Lucci?
To make this dope without having to break the bank. And he was like, yeah, I got an idea. So he was like, hey, like, we looked at this Black. He had like this visualizer, and for one of his albums, and it was through the computer. I was like, oh, this is kind of dope. Like they're using the angle of the computer and it keeps you engaged because it's different. And then I thought to myself, like, yo, my room is pretty big. Why don't we just use my room as a set? So we emptied my whole entire room, and we basically created, we went to a thrift store, got a bunch of women magazines, threw those up on the wall, and just created the aesthetic. We got some gels and threw them on top of the ceiling so that the lights would look pink. So we had the lighting that we wanted, and we made it happen in my room. Honestly, like that was really in the house. Like the whole thing was shot in the house, and it was dope.
So that was in your actual room.
Yeah.
Oh, like wow.
The room that we're sitting in right now.
Because I was gonna say, if it was shot on a set, you guys did a pretty damn good job making it look like it was a room. So that's cool to hear. And because I was wondering, because it was like I see, the window in one of the frames, it was like all black. So I didn't know if they like purposely blacked it out. You guys purposely blacked it out or not. But that's pretty cool to hear. So you guys went to the thrift store and found. Because the detail in that music video is one of the coolest parts of like the close-up shots of the things on the wall. And I think there is a cool close-up shot of feathers. And one thing I think you and Jason are good at are like keeping the viewer like entertained, where like there might be a shot of something that you don't know why it's there, but the next shot will be something where you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
So in terms of storytelling, I found that very cool. And so when it comes to including other like actresses and actors in your music videos, do you have friends that are in the music videos, like for Hollywood and On Me?
Yeah.
Like what's that process like for you guys?
So it's different. Like one of the songs that we have coming out later this month, like you'll see that P is acting in it. And another with his girlfriend Sienna. And she's a model. Her work is crazy. Like she is dope. And so I wanted them, because of what the song is about, I wanted two people that have a true connection to actually play the roles, because I needed it to be that way for what the song was. I do my friends, and then sometimes I just reach out to people that's on Instagram. I know there's a bunch of creators where I'm at, and I feel like it goes hand in hand. Like me giving them an opportunity to be in my stuff, and them allowing me the opportunity to go on their page when they repost it, allows us a chance to grow together. You know what I mean? So I always tell them, like, my goal is to get you booked more, and for people to hear about myself. Like, it's never a one-way street when we do things. And I always just try to make sure that people know that, like, I want you to be comfortable. My music is not the sense of like half naked women 24/7 all over the screen. Like,
right.
I want you to like come here and play a role and be able to show somebody like, hey, like, listen, like I've done this and I've done this. And so I just want to show people's versatility as much as I want to show mine.
We're going to get on to the next song. And the next song of yours I want to talk about is Designer Lil Baby. And that's like that song seems like it was like a lot of fun for you to make. It sounds like it was just, you know, I go by feeling of like when I hear new music and I get super excited and stuff like that. When I heard that, I was like, oh, all right, he could do that too. How do you bring that song to life? And what's the story behind that song?
So during that time I was making that song, I was trying to figure out what type of artist I was going to be. Like, I honestly didn't find what type of artist I wanted to be until now. But it was still at that point where I was, let me dib and dabble. Let's not be afraid to go outside the box and try something. And when I made this song, while I was making the song, I just wanted people to feel good when they was listening to it. That was really it. There was no story to it. There was nothing more. It was more of a, hey, like, I want somebody to feel good when they listening to this track. It's one of those things where it's just like, hey, like, I don't know what to play. It's been an average day. I'm on my way home. I need something to make me feel good. I need something to just raise my frequency high. And that's kind of what it was. When I made it, that's how I felt when I was inside making it inside the booth with Twist at the time. Like, I was just sitting there just going. He would be looking at me. I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. Let's go. And so it felt good. Like, making the track felt good. And, you know, and that's what I wanted people to feel. I just wanted people to feel good when I made it.
Jimmy Choo's, Christian Loube, Chanel, Prada too. Designer Lil Baby, she cool. She don't know which one to choose. Saint Laurent, Celine, Christian D. Designer Lil Baby, she clean. Designer Lil Baby, she clean. Yeah. Graduated last May. She from LA, she in the Bay. Shaped like a bottle, I'm rubbing her waist. Granting my wishes like genies do. Pouring these bottles, she freaky too. Card no rent pay. She don't like to play no games. Little baby, but she grown. Stacking up paper alone. Love to get her on her own. Dolo, baby got that jewel. She can kick it like she Bruce. Running through these checks like she's sponsored by the swoosh. Designer Lil Baby, she cool. Designer Lil Baby, she smooth. Designer Lil Baby, she cool.
When it comes to you being in the studio, like do you think about those things when you're like, say, all right, tonight I'm gonna go to a session or whatever, I'm gonna put some work in? Like, do you set aside time to either, you know, spend some time making a song that is more singing, or spending time making a song that's more just like bars, feel good? Like, do you kind of like structure your musical sessions like that, or is it just what you feel?
I think it's a little bit of both. I know there's some people that be like, you know, I just go in there, I press play, and whatever comes out, comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that much a free-spirited person. I'm free-spirited, but I feel like there's a little organized madness in a sense. 9 times out of 10, I'm recording like right here in my room. So what I'll do is in the morning, my voice tends to be a little bit more harsher and raspier. And so when I want to make a track that's like a little bit more bars, or it's more a little bit more bounce, I make it in the morning. I don't know what the topic is going to be, but if the style of song will more likely be in the morning. And at night is when I'm more like in my bag, or if like thinking about my girl, or if I'm thinking about a situation, is when it catches me at night. And my voice I've been using my voice all day, so I can hit those pitches. I can do the things that I want to do with my voice. So usually at night, you're definitely getting a bag song for me. That's usually when it's been there. But during the day, when it's like sun is shining, that's usually when most of the like Hollywoods get made, in a sense, because my voice is able to do what it needs to do, because it's just off the morning. It makes me sound a little bit different from what I do at night.
So when it comes to the in my bag type songs with you singing, do you have much experience singing from like when you were a kid, or just like singing in the shower or something? Like how comfortable are you with singing?
Honestly, like I always felt like, I feel like everybody feels this way though, but like when you're in the car and you listen to a certain song and you feel like you hitting a note, that's how I've always felt. I always felt like, yo, I'm hitting this note, you know what I mean? Like nobody not telling me I'm hitting it, but I know I'm hitting this note, you know? That's kind of how like I've always been. And then I learned that when you record by yourself and you have your own process, you're less afraid to just try things. And like for artists who are coming up or who are just starting, it's so crucial to get yourself a home setup. And it might not be the best setup. It doesn't have to be, because you could record a song and then re-record it in another place for a better quality if you need to. But for me, it's like when I'm here in my own space, I'll try and say a word or say a sentence in an octave that I probably don't think I could get to, but then I get it and I hear it when I play it back, and I'm like, okay, let me find words that actually work with this octave, because I know I can actually hit it.
Right.
And that's where like 2-2 comes from. Like a lot of my ballads in my song, I say 2-2, and like when I say it, it's like okay. But when I was trying it so many times, like, but I would have never done that, honestly, if I was in a studio session with a million of different people, because it's like my comfortability wasn't there. It's not there. So being able to be with myself and being like, yo, I'm gonna try this. If it sounds bad, I'm the only person that knows that it's gonna sound bad. If it sounds good, I sound like a genius. So you might as well just go ahead again and just try it. And that's what I did. I just learned my voice. Like, hey, these words sound good when I say them, and these words don't. I mean, this type of octave, like, that works and that doesn't. So I just got a chance to just learn my voice, and I feel like I'm not where I want to be yet, but I feel like I'm getting there.
You've had a lot of like success and improvements within your music over the past couple years. What would you say, like, if you could zero in on one thing that you've like overcame that you're most proud of, like, what would that be for you?
I think the biggest thing is not caring about how people perceive the success. So when I was back in New York, like, I would try new things. Like, I'll be marketing my videos through YouTube platform. So like one day my video would have 1,000 views, the next day it would have 20,000. But that's just because of the money that I put into it. And a bunch of people would be like, yo, he's paying for views, he's paying for this, and he's paying for that. And like, to me, like, it hurt, because I'm like, yo, like, if anybody knows me, like, I don't cheat anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to put the work in. And what I learned, and I think it's the biggest thing, is like, listen, I'm starting a new marketing technique with the On Me video, and it's at 2,000 views right now. I'm okay with that, because
in like a week too. It's like a week or two.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? To other people, they're going to be like, well, you know, last year, your other video had this, and this time. And I don't care, because when I sit down with the guys and we talk about like what we judge as a successful metric goal, we're like, yeah, he got 2,000 views on this. The song is over 10K. But most importantly, he's been up 1,100 followers on Instagram that are engaging. And that's what I've learned, as like, yo, like, I don't care if another person thinks that I'm not buying views, or I am buying views, or this isn't the case. I don't care that the person thinks that I have 7,000 followers or 6,000 followers at this time in this time frame. Like, I don't care. I know what's working. I know what's going on. I know what's going on behind the scenes. So why would I let somebody's opinion, who doesn't know what's going on behind here, what doesn't know that we're making goals, that to sway me just because I should be like, you know what? I want to show them that like I can get 10,000. Like, no, I'm gonna get the 10,000. But to me, when I can go on Instagram and every day I could post people from different countries listening to my music, loving my music, that's more. You know what I mean? Like, On Me has 2,000 views, cool, but it's been played a certain amount of times in this country. It's been played a certain amount of times in LA. There's people who call and just be like, yo, bro, like, I didn't even know this was you. Or they'll be like, hey, Juan, like, yo, we just heard you and such and such. And I've gotten calls from people that I don't know, people that I do know. And it's just dope to see that, like, hey, like, what we're doing is working. Don't let the outside people sway it.
As soon as you kind of separate yourself from all that negative energy and you put it towards more positive stuff and not caring about what other people think, I think that's one of the most valuable things like us as young people could say is like do not give a shit about what anybody else thinks on how you spend your time, because they don't get it. As far as up and coming music, what can your fans expect? And do you have plans to drop, you know, obviously you'll have plans to drop more music, but in what form? Are you looking to drop maybe another EP, a debut album, more singles? From what you'd like to share, what do you plan on?
See, I'm dropping a whole lot. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's a bunch of music that I got ready to be dropped. It's all, and it's coming. It's coming in a big wave. You're not gonna go a month without hearing some new WanBlvd. And so it's gonna be a lot of singles. I'm hoping to get an EP in with P again, because the connection between us, when everybody heard it, it was just like, whoa, boom. I got a bunch of different features with some artists out here from Cali, some from the East Coast, down south. I've been really doing my best to really just spread myself thin so people can hear me on all different types of things. I've even got like a super like pop record, like indie pop record. Like there's a bunch of different things that I got coming for people that I think they're really gonna appreciate.
So for a song like Poison and the way that you record your music and stuff like that, from what you'd like to share, like what's a little sneak peek for our viewers on what they can expect with Poison, the title, the meaning of the song, stuff like that?
So like in a song, I go like, I said like I was poisoned by basically what I thought like their love meant, or poisoned by how I thought they made me feel. So for this one, is basically it's a summer track, kind of like it's a transition. I say it's a transition track. It gives you some spring vibes, but it gives you that summer feel. You can look to like hear a bunch of captions, and it's basically just saying just like, hey, like we've all been victim to another person, how we feel about a person, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like I love this girl, I've been with this girl, this is the person I wanted to be with, and because she knew that she had that hold over me, like she would basically, you know, get one over on me. And then there's friends, you know what I mean? There's friends that you do more for and they never reciprocated the energy, but you know what I mean, you held the friendship more, and there's times where you got to move on, you know what I mean? So it's for that, you know what I mean? I think it's a good track for the summer. It's kind of like one of those release your demons type thing from the spring and like, let's go enjoy the summer. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the feel good that it is. And then the one after Pressure is just more like for everybody. I feel like we all got pressure. Everybody's got pressure to do things. Like I know I got family members that count on me, and I got my friends that count on me every single day, and vice versa for you and anybody else. And I feel like that track is going to make people, it's going to go crazy. I know that track and Poison are going crazy for the summer, and it all happens in May, in my birthday month. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited. I can't wait, because it's like, dang, like, yo, finally I get to show people like, yo, I've really grown as an artist, and I've really been putting in work, and I'm legit here at my desk every single day making songs and just upping the quality, even when and investing in myself. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for people to get a chance to just hear this new music that's coming. It's gonna be dope.
And the last question I like to leave with when I conclude interviews, and I think it's a very important one, is where do you see WanBlvd in 5 to 10 years, and what are some either short-term or long-term goals for you in your career?
So short-term, the biggest goal for us, let's say over the next 3 months, is to grow the Instagram following and the actual following on Spotify and things of that nature. For Spotify, it's to get to about 2,000. We're about, I think, maybe like 1,200 followers on Spotify at the moment. For Instagram, we want to get between the 10 to 15K range, just because we know that's like potentially 5 to 10K people who are going to be listening to WanBlvd every single day. That's like the small, like immediate goals. If we span it out a little longer, like the main goal for the starting of next year is to be on those cards for some festivals, to open up some shows. There's a bunch of things that goes on in LA. And I think we're right on the cusp of getting that done and sealing those things in for those next, for next year. And we want to go on tour next year as well. Small tour, thinking about 5 cities. And that's like what we want for the next year. From 5 years from now, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I need a couple billboards, at least top 10 billboards. I need a few of those.
All right.
Definitely, I know we're gonna have a platinum record, a platinum album coming. I know it's gonna be there. And this, which might be different from other people, 10 years from now, I just want to know that my music is timeless and that people still listen to my music because it makes them feel good. That's all I care about. Personally, I don't think I'll be making music 10 years from now. I think I'll be doing much more than just music. I'm not going to go and say I'm going to be Jay-Z, but I also don't I also don't want to be Drake. You know what I'm saying? I want to find that medium. You know what I mean? Like, I love Drake, and I don't understand how he's done it for this long. He's one in a million.
Right.
But I want to be able to do things. I want to be able to live like Jay-Z, have music like Drake, and still be Juwan Wilson and still be WanBlvd all at the same time. So it's a combination of things, but as long as 10 years from now, I can sit back and I'm chilling with my kids and I'm chilling with my family and my friends, and I can say like, yo, my music is timeless, then we won. Like, that's it. That's the overall goal. As long as my music is timeless, we won. That's it.
That's a lyric right there. Like the whole Jay-Z line. It's, you said, live like Jay-Z, make music like Drake, and I could just be Juwan Wilson. I like that. You might want to sit with that for a little bit, but that right there.
I might have to take it. I might have to take it.
Get that notebook out. All rights reserved to you. There you go. But that's right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's manifestation at its finest. And I hope you can watch this sometime down the road, and people can watch this down the road and be like, he did that shit. So just remember that, let that sit with you, and keep manifesting everything that you've created for yourself so far, and keep taking those risks. And to our viewers at home, this is WanBlvd, and his music is on all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, anything, Sound, whatever, right?
Everything.
You have absolutely, and I say this, you have absolutely no excuse not to go listen to him. He will be your artist's favorite artist, your favorite artist, and maybe even your mama's favorite artist. You never know. So right then and there, that gives you enough time to go listen to WanBlvd's music. Juan, thank you for your time today, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for reaching out and just allowing me this opportunity, bro. Thank you for being a supporter of both of my careers. Something that some people don't know is they need to check out my highlight tape from college. They're going to hear a certain verse on that. And that voice seals in and locks in the video. You know what I mean? I appreciate you. I seriously thank you so much for this opportunity, bro. And you keep doing your thing and manifesting your goals. I promise you one day when we actually do another interview, we'll be so far along and people going to be like, wow, like, yo, like their careers simultaneously kind of just connect, because it seems like it always does, bro.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate your true, genuine nature. And like I said, thank you for your time today. And ladies and gentlemen who are watching this at home, this is Showcase on Loud Music Only. I'm your host, A.T. Bianco, here with WanBlvd. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
I was poisoned by they love. I let my feelings get the best of me. I let the twilight get control of me. I blame it all on them, but it's all on me. I put the blame on me, but I still fuck with me. Ride through the city, no windows. I'm one with the wind. Whole lot of photos, but who gon' make it to the end? Ooh, guess that depends. Who I let get my advance? Who I let take off my pants? Who I let get what? Day after day, I stick to